up, everybody? Welcome back to the workshop. Sorry, I know it's been a long time, but, life. First of all, I just want to say that I am by no means an expert. The stuff I say is all just my opinion and stuff that I've experienced personally. And honestly, I don't even know why anyone would ask my advice in the first place, because my grasp on the English language is average at best. That being said, let's get right to it. I don't know if you know this about me, but I freaking love stories written in first person. By far one of my favorite ways to get immersed into a story. A surprising number of people have asked me if they should write their stories or their fanfictions in first person, and my answer is always the same. Absolutely not! Have you gone insane? That's like a suicide mission! Alright, so what the heck, right? How can it be one of my favorite ways to read a story and yet I'm discouraging people from writing in it? Here's my take on it. First person is the easiest way to write a story, but the hardest way to write a story well. Writing a story in first person is comfortable and it's familiar and it gives the illusion of being easy because it's how we talk to ourselves in our head. Typically people refer to themselves as I, both in their head and while they're speaking, so it's kind of the security blanket that we use. In my experience, most people think that they're good at writing in first person. In my opinion, first person is one of the hardest narratives to write well in. The problem a lot of people have with first person is that they have all these amazingly descriptive scenes planned out in their head. Well, throw all of that right out the frickin' window, because guess what, folks? That's not how it works. Alright, so pretend for a second that I'm the protagonist of your story, because apparently you're writing the most boring story ever. Think about the way you would write a first-person narrative of me sitting here in this chair looking at my dog. As I sit in my study, my sanctuary, and I look over at my dog Jinx sitting on the bed that my mother bought her at Costco. She looks at me in that way that only a dog can, with the endless love and naivety that animals carry with them forever. She rolls onto her back, exposing her underbelly and affectionately asking me to rub it. So that sounded pretty unnatural, right? Here's what my actual internal monologue would be. Oh, God, I can't get this hangnail. Oh, there's Jinx. You're a good dog. Who likes her belly rubbed? I should really go to the grocery store. See, both of those examples are wrong, because in the first example, it's stilted and unnatural, and nobody actually talks that way. Nobody thinks to themselves 2 paragraphs of flowery-ass language about the way the moonlight is hitting the lake. That's not the way it works inside your head. You're like, hey, look how pretty the friggin' moon is. Hey, the lake. Alright. The second is obviously wrong because it gives you no frickin' idea as to what is actually happening in the scene. It may be a realistic view of how I'm talking to myself in my head, but that doesn't relay any information to the reader. And trust me when I say that it's really hard to find a believable middle ground. And now, allow Mr. Dashiell Hammett to take us all to school. Prepping this before I started would have been a good idea. I was leaning against the bar in a speakeasy on 52nd Street, waiting for Nora to finish her Christmas shopping, when a girl got up from the table where she had been sitting with 3 other people and came over to me. She was small and blonde, and whether you looked at her face or at her body in powder blue sports clothes, the result was satisfactory. "Aren't you Nick Charles?" she asked. I said yes. She held out her hand. "I'm Dorothy Wynant. You don't remember me, but you ought to remember my father, Clyde Wynant." Sure, I said, "and I remember you now, but you were only a kid of 11 or 12 then, weren't you?" "Yes, but that was 8 years ago. Listen, remember those stories you told me? Were they true?" "Probably not. How's your father?" She laughed. "I was going to ask you. Mama divorced him, you know, and we never hear from him except for when he gets in the newspapers now and then with some of his carryings on. Don't you ever see him?" My glass was empty. I asked her what she would have to drink. She said a scotch and soda. I ordered 2 of them and said no. I've been living in San Francisco. That, my little redcoats, is how it's done. Do you see how it feels like you're almost in somebody else's head? Like there's not too much detail and he's summarizing events in a way that is realistic of how we perceive the world. First person feels easier than it is because you can just use your own voice to explain everything. But that's not what it's supposed to be. It's not supposed to be your voice. It's supposed to be your character's voice. You have to write the whole story that way. You have to write it the way they talk. You have to write what they see and what they feel and the way they would explain it in their own minds. And each switch of perspective has to be a whole new voice, a whole new vocabulary, a whole new way of looking at the world. And it's really freaking hard. And that's why I never write in first person, because I'm not going to do the genre any justice, and what's more, I don't even have a grasp on third person limited yet. But that's just my 2 cents on it. I mean, if you want to write something in first person, you write something in first person, and because you're never going to get any better at it if you don't practice. And if you don't read Dashiell Hammett, because he's kind of the best at it. The best way to get better at writing in first person is to read authors who are really good at it. The Sherlock Holmes series, I have that, it's right there. The Sherlock Holmes series is also a good place to start because it's written in first person peripheral, which means that the story is being told by somebody who's not the main character, aka Dr. Watson. Like I said, what do I know? This is just my opinion. You are under no obligation to listen to the stupid things that come out of my stupid face in my stupid room. My stupid chair. That's it for me. It's good to talk to you guys again. I haven't done this in a while and it feels really, really good. And if you have any other questions, let me know, except for how is your writing going? Because writing is hard. Alright, that's it for me, guys. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching. I just wanted to add this to the end of the video to tell you that I started a new YouTube channel. A while ago, I did a couple Let's Plays that were kind of well received, and I had a really great time doing them. So I got together with some friends, and we're going to try and start a new YouTube channel for gaming. I know it's such a novel idea, and no one has ever thought of it, and who are the Game Grumps? I don't know what you're talking about. Click here, you can see me and my friend James playing Portal 2 together and being lamentably bad at it. So go on over there and give it a look and see if it's something you might enjoy, and if it is, you can subscribe, and if it's not, you can go on being awesome anyway. Thanks again for your support, you guys. I'm glad I finally got to get this project started, and I hope I gave you a couple of things to think about while you're practicing writing in first person. So don't give up. And keep practicing, and you're going to do something awesome. I can't wait to see it. Thanks, guys, and have a good day.